And we're really bringing heaven to earth right now. It's not outside of us. And like Reverend Danielle was talking about, we are light. We're infinite. We're multidimensional beings living on earth, but we're also living in other dimensions at the same time. And the dolphins have actually shown me that. There are times we go out on the dolphin boat, and there's been a couple times we've gone out and we haven't seen any dolphins. And you know, I've asked the whole group of people, 49 people on the catamaran, how many of you were really disappointed that you didn't see the dolphins today? And nobody raised their hand. And I said, because what they're doing is they're encouraging us to come together in community. And that's what it's about, coming together, finding our pod, and expressing love and joy and bliss. And that's our divine birthright. We can live in that state of mind. So when Reverend Danielle asked me to come here today to speak to all of you, I went, oh my gosh, I don't do that. I don't talk to people. I just do the Pied Piper thing and have people, you know, come with me on the boat. I like to talk with people, but I do want to share the joy that the dolphins bring to me. How many of you here have ever been on a dolphin boat, have gone out and seen the dolphins? A few of you have. Did you get a lot out of it? Being in their joy as they jump out of the water and they're sharing their joy. I was thinking another thing was neat was the fact that you saw Zinc Cafe. You know, this is an opportunity to do something you've never done before. Come out with us on the dolphin boat. We're actually going this Thursday for the winter solstice. I think I have 15 spots left on the boat if anyone here wants to go. You can just sign up for my email list and let me know, put a star next to your name, and let me know you want to go so I get you the email with the information.
Could you do this every couple of months?
Probably. You know, last year we went every month except, I think, 2 months out of last year. And it just kind of birthed itself. It wasn't something that I consciously planned to do. The dolphins started talking to me, and it's not like I hear a voice, I'm your dolphin pod. I don't hear anything like that. They just started kind of leaving telepathic messages within me. That was an interesting conversation to have with my family when I said, yeah, the dolphins are talking to me and they're ready to, you know, what? But they do, they let me know that they want us to go out and commune with them. And, you know, water is a conductor of energy. So when we're all together, in that group energy, focusing our intentions on radiating out love and peace and harmony and abundance and joy and wholeness, when we're in that place, this water is just taking that to all points on the earth. And think of what we're doing. I know the dolphins are encouraging us to come out and interact with them in that way so that we are doing that and we are the change we wish to see on the planet. And that's really coming through right now, conscious co-creators. And the dolphins are teaching us about conscious breathing, right? They're conscious breathers. Every breath they take, they think about. And that's where we are going and where I think we've come to, a place where it's time to be very conscious in all of our actions every day. So it fits right in with exactly what you talked about today. Every word, every thought, every action, we are co-creating in every second. And I find myself now correcting myself, saying, hey, wait, no. In the past, I used to, you know, and I'm using that statement. That was in the past. And now we're stepping into, we can do it, and we can create this tidal wave of change that's coming. So I feel really positive about the future, and I feel very blessed that we're all here together, co-creating and holding that space for humanity and all life in every dimension. How many planets did you say in your meditation we have?
400 billion.
400 billion.
Or the Milky Way alone.
Can we believe that? That's just in the Milky Way galaxy. 400 billion. I mean, it makes us really realize we're just one drop in this larger sea of things. And we're a very important drop, because when we all come together and we're conscious about it, we're radiating all that out. So I'd like to hear from all of you. Does anyone ever had a dolphin experience? An interaction with a dolphin, or you're laughing? Have you had a...
Well, I surf sometimes, and it's been a little while, but when you go out here, they just come by on a regular basis. And I found if you go underwater and just do like 3 clicks, like, you know, they just come around. They send out, like this, I call them the sentinels. They have like 2 that come around that just kind of patrol. And then whole pods will come by, and I've had dolphins almost run into me. They come swimming up, and I don't know if they're just goofing around with their friends or if they have
You have to play, yeah.
They're engaging you, is what they're doing, yeah.
Yeah, and then one time I felt them just, you know, scanning me, and so yeah.
You did feel their sonar.
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely. It's real powerful. And then, you know, in Hawaii, it's beautiful. There's a bay off the Big Island.
That's where this was filmed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, yeah, that's a famous place for dolphins. So that wants to jump up and spin his neck, swim with them. It's great. Absolutely, highly recommended to go swim with the dolphins. Yeah.
That brings up a good point. The DVD we watched, it's a clip of a DVD that my our friend, I call him our merman brother, Matisha. He's amazing. He swims with these dolphins. He's one of them, actually. I think he'd rather be under the water than on top of it. And he swims and films. He was on the film as well with the spinner dolphins in Hawaii. And that was a whale shark that we saw at the end.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah, that was a whale shark. I called him last night and I said, you know, I'm watching the DVD and I want to make sure I say it right. And was that a whale shark? And he said, yes. He just finished wrapping his 3rd DVD, and he's calling it Dolphin Heaven. And the whale shark is in there. He says there's a great shot of its eye. It's very friendly when it's in the mood to interact with humans. Can you imagine? I'm not really sure I could handle something that big right there next to me. I thought, wow, yeah. We're all moving into that faith and trust, right? But
Be very connected to your idea of sovereignty and free will.
Stay alive. Matisha brings him though, and he's so reverent when he comes to his respect for how to swim with the dolphins. He says you never swim to them, you let them come to you. But did you notice in the DVD how playful they were with each other, how they touched each other? And
were they playing with the refuse in the water? Were they playing with those little like leaves and that?
Matisha sometimes brings them. He'll go get leaves and he'll drop them in the water, much like you would with a cat with a little ball of catnip or a dog.
For them, and they always had them on their body or somewhere. They were playing with them.
Yeah, that's how Matisha gets them to interact. He'll just drop it in there. So it's their free will. It's the dolphin's free will coming and playing, and that's how he engages them. And he shared those stories with me. They're absolutely incredible. When we go, and I want to say that if you want to get that DVD, I feel there's an activation from what you're hearing. When you're hearing their clicks, I feel there's sonar from that DVD, actually. So if you want to get that DVD, it's on his website, songofhome.com. And he will have the next one coming out soon. He also has beautiful poetry and music. One of the first dolphin boats I ever did was for the autumn equinox. And somebody had said, Michelle, you've got to meet this guy, Matisha. He's your brother. And I said, yeah. And they said, oh, he's in Mount Shasta. And so we spoke on the phone right before I got on the dolphin boat. And he shared his music with me. And there was this song called Be the Love. And oh my gosh, it's just really got to me. Be the love wherever you are. And it says, turn to the sun, remember the one, and you come home to light. Turn to the sun, remember the one, you come home to love. Be the love, be the love, be the love wherever you are, and you heal. You heal the star, he says. So I love that song. So anyway, I had an interesting story happen this morning as I was getting in the car to come here. One of the people that's going on the boat with us on Thursday called and said, Michelle, I know you're going over to Temple of Light right now, and I have to share this story with you because you're going to want to share it. And I said, okay, what's that? She said, well, I called to make my reservation on the boat. the last 2 boats we've done have sold out. There's 49 spots on the catamaran, and when we go, we bring drums, we bring gongs. Neptune is the gong Dawn usually brings. We bring flutes, and we bring our playful spirits, and we dance and we sing, and the dolphins feel that. They love it. And a lot of times we'll get a blue whale or some gray whales or some Riso dolphins. It just depends on the day, but we do see sometimes thousands of dolphins, and it's amazing. So she called to get her spot on the boat before I came and talked to all of you today. She wanted to make sure it didn't sell out. And when you reserve a spot on the boat, you're calling Zerv, which is a company in New York who takes your ticket reservation. And I guess Victoria called and got a guy named Kevin, and Kevin said, "What is it that Michelle Anderson does out there in California on that dolphin boat?" And she said, "Why?" And he said, "The people who book their tickets are the nicest people I've ever interacted with. And it sounds fascinating. What instruments do you play, and what do you do, and what happens on that boat? Is there a YouTube video we can watch?" And I thought, gosh, you know, if I was really in this, like as a business marketing, I'd probably do all that stuff, huh? And I have lots of video, but I've never put it on a website. I've never put it on YouTube. But I think what I'm being guided and what I'm hearing is it's time to share it. It's time for the rest of the world to experience this dolphin bliss and this energy that's created by us coming together in unity. It's about leaving the individuality behind and just all coming together and dancing and drumming and singing and being in our joy and leaving whatever stressors that we may be feeling in our daily lives on the dock. We leave it on the dock, we get on the boat, and it's like entering the plane of bliss.
We don't have to fly to Hawaii, it's right here in Dana Point.
I know. We don't swim with them. We don't get in the water, where that's illegal here. But we do, it is a catamaran, and it's a really nice boat, and they come and they ride the bow, they surf the bow, and sometimes they jump up in the air. We see, this last time we went, we saw a ton. It's called a maternity pod. Lots of mamas and babies, and you know, I was looking at some of my videos last night and hearing us screaming, "Oh my God, I love you!" in the video. "Look at the baby, look at the baby!" And then you see, look, jump, and then you see it jump, and everybody starts screaming. It's so much fun. So we, it's right here in our own backyard. How many of you have actually gone out of Dana Point to see the dolphins? So there's 1, 2, 3 of you. Bansel, you've been on the boat with us?
No, I've gone on other boats.
You've gone on other boats, but Bansel's going this Thursday, and you're gonna light it up with the way that you're a dolphin yourself. You know that, right?
I did a shaman journey recently, and I found myself on the beach, and I was looking at the waves, and this dolphin came surfed right on the wave, came right towards me, and the dolphin said to me, "Come with me." "Okay, I'll go with you." And so I went with the dolphin in the water, and the first thing the dolphin did is show me, he said, "See each one of these grains of sand, each one of them has a story to tell." I thought about that. Well, yes, it would. And then the dolphin took me along the shore and I was looking at it from under the water, and it was really very pretty and beautiful. Then the dolphin said to me, when I'm swimming through the water, I sense where things are around me. I use my eyes, but more importantly, I use my body to sense where other fish are, where the warm waters are, where the other dolphins are. All of that is from my feeling and my senses. He said, the dolphin said to me, "You as a human can do the same thing. You tend to use your physical eyes and your hearing and so, but you have so much more power to extend your awareness out all to other people and things and feelings that you don't use." So he said, use those, and you will benefit much more from those that are around you in your own self. So that was my story with the dolphin.
That's a beautiful message.
That is a wonderful message. Thank you for sharing that. It's a good reminder for all of us to to go out and be in our feeling body and being receptive, and also realizing that we can sense, you know, even if you're in the grocery store, you can sense maybe somebody's needs a little extra, you know, if they're hurting, and we can actually send them that beautiful energy just by a look or just by a feeling, sending energy, or, you know, within our own families. And that's what we're learning to do. I'm so grateful for the lessons that the dolphins are teaching us. And you know, the Native Americans have held the dolphins in reverence for a long time. And we've done stuff. I was just talking with somebody, I think, about Earth Day Four Corners and working with the Navajo people on the nation. Wasn't I just getting ready to go to that when I came in February? Because it was April 22nd. We're doing it again this year, April 22nd, Earth Day, Four Corners. It's in Arizona on Navajo land. And, you know, that story really makes me think about what we did there. We were just a group of people who were called through our hearts, through our feeling senses, to go out and give back to the Native American people. And we had an event there. We were honored that they would even have us onto their land, because some of the Navajo people are, you know, tend to be, they stick to themselves and they're not very trusting of us. Go figure, I wonder why, you know. It's time to forgive, it's time to heal those karmic situations that happened. And that was my sense, my guidance. I actually had 2 Native American guides come to me in a vision, and they told me that I would be a part of this healing of these karmic situations that incurred on our planet with us and the Native Americans, and that we would bring all the tribes together as one tribe, the tribe of humanity. And I thought, me? I'm a housewife. Well, how am I going to do that? What is that? And there was an event that happened in Sedona called the Gathering of the Ancestors, and I thought that must be what those guides told me, and I need to get there, and it didn't work out, and I didn't get there. And I was putting all this pressure on myself that I didn't get there, and then this other event happened, and my whole body felt that, I call that the God bumps, right? Just, I lit up, I had those tingles everywhere, and I went, oh, this is the one that I'm supposed to be involved with. So we rented a motorhome, 8 of us, and actually there were probably 30 of us from all over, and then hundreds there. Got together and went to the land, and we did ceremony together out in the middle of nowhere. There's no grocery store for 50 miles. It's a 50-mile dirt road, and there's no electricity, running water, nothing. We had to be completely self-contained. We didn't shower for 6 days, and it was all good. And we, yeah, it was amazing to watch the transformations, because what ended up happening was these beautiful Native American people saw that we were there not to take from them. We were there to give back. There was a $20,000 or $30,000 biodome donated to be put on their land to grow vegetables. In theory, it would grow 12 pounds of vegetables a day for these people. They're still having some trouble with it. They're looking at alternative ways to help that situation. But because of it, now the Navajo Nation is paying attention and looking at this area, and they have now agreed to build homes, pave that 50-mile dirt road, supply electricity, bring in water. Because this land was affected by something called the Bennett Freeze that happened in 1966, and now it was lifted in 2009. So the Navajo Nation received $65 million, I think, some big amount of money, but they hadn't actually done anything to improve the lives of their own people. And by all of us just going out there with our dolphin spirit and showing them, we're here for you, we're here to show up and spread love, it made a huge impact. And so again, they're doing it this year. And I feel like the dolphins brought that energy to them, and they seem to recognize it. The Navajo were there, the Hopi were there were a few other tribes there. And I feel like this event will grow each year because of that love that we infused in it. So that's just one of the things, you know.
I have a question. What is your feeling or observation on the Lemurian energy that coexists with the dolphins. Can you touch on that a little bit?
I didn't know if we went to the Lemuria place here, but I'm so
Yeah,
glad
oh,
we
yeah.
do. Well, all of you are familiar with Lemuria. Are you tuned in now? See, I said some people go, "What's that, Lemuria?" What about Atlantis? Have you heard the term Atlantis? Right, the fall of Atlantis. Right. A lot of people think it's mythical because they don't think there's a proof that it existed. Lemuria, it is said, was a land that existed before Atlantis, and that Lemuria was a place where all people came together in complete harmony, and love was the ruling force. There was no higher or lower. That's why I think I tend to feel like Lemuria is in my blood. Because when anybody wants to say to me, well, you're the leader of that, or you're going to speak, or you're going to facilitate, I find myself going, nuh-uh, we're all doing it. And that's the Lemuria way, that we're all a family. There's no higher or lower, there's no hierarchy. We just come together in this beautiful, beautiful energy of love. And the dolphins were a big part of Lemuria. It was very, from my understanding and my feeling of it, I ask everybody to tune into your own guidance. If it doesn't feel right with you and you feel contracted, then maybe that's not something that resonates with you. But a lot of times I'll tell people, instead of putting thoughts in their head about Lemuria, I say Google it, see what you find, see what comes up for you, because your guides are going to send you to the website that fits your receptors and your feeling. I did that one night to a girl who comes on the dolphin boat with me. This is a picture from one of our dolphin boats, one of our experiences. And I love this because there's little hearts in these little dazzling diamonds that are shining in the sea. You can see some of the little hearts on here, right here. See that heart on its tail? So I had a girl call me and say she was going to Hawaii, and I said, oh my gosh, you're going that's where Lemuria is. And she said, what's Lemuria? And I said, I'm not going to tell you. Google it and see what you find. And she Googled it, and she was Alice. She went down the rabbit hole, and one thing led her to the next thing, and she did her research, and she took in all this information, and this was at about 11 o'clock at night when I got this email, and at about 12:30, and I was still up, she was still up, she writes me back, oh my gosh, Michelle, thank you so much. All that information that I found really resonated with me, and I'm so excited now that I'm going to go there and feel that energy, because now she was in tune with this dolphin Lemurian energy. So some people say that when Lemuria sank that we became dolphins and we went back into the water for a time and then we came back out. Some of it's myth and folklore, but I in my receptive body, I feel it is my truth. I talk to some people who say you are completely off your rocker and I don't know what you're talking about, and I say that's okay. I don't have a need to be right about it. It's just kind of what I feel. But I really feel that the dolphins are representative of what unity consciousness stands for, and that's what Lemurian energy is. Is that a long answer to your question?
No, that is a perfect answer.
Okay.
And I think mine is in alignment with yours. It's to me, it was what I was shown was that when we went into this stage of the Piscean age, the Lemurians could no longer exist in the age of darkness that we were going to experience. So they left, but some of them stayed behind in dolphin form to help keep that energy resonance here, so that when we came out of the light, they'd be here to show it to us. That was what was shown to me.
I love that. I met a guy in Mount Shasta once that somebody kept saying, you've got to meet this guy. And like Matisha, his name is Omaron. And also Amareya Dreamseed. Do you know him? You should have him speak here. He's pretty fabulous. There's certain people that I could feel this dolphin energy with. And when I met Omaron on 10-10-10 with Solara on Ra at the top of Mount Shasta, my friend Sarah said, I want to be there when you meet this guy because I want to see what happens. And I said, really? Okay. So she brings him over to me. No words. we just looked into each other's eyes and we started jumping up and down again. And I go, oh my gosh! I saw our dolphin tails flipping out of the water, and it was like we were dolphins together. And it really felt like I must have been a dolphin or something, because I was really feeling it with this guy. And it feels like we kind of went back to that time together for a minute. We just kind of held hands and looked in each other's eyes. But then afterwards, I said, oh my gosh, I saw our dolphin tails, and it was a great moment. Do any of you feel like that? Do you feel? Yeah, you're shaking your head. I kind of figured you kind of do that. Do you get that little doo-doo-doo-doo-doo? Like, I know, you can't.
Even just watching the footage makes me very emotional.
Yeah. You'll love the whole DVD, it's amazing. And then that New Earth Rising song by Elijah and the Band of Light, it really fit with your whole, what you were saying. It just really brought everything together in that beautiful circle of radiant light and love. Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for Michelle?
Because we live on different dimensions, is it beneficial to bring back our energy that we left in other places with people to feel more whole again?
Bring back to me infers lost,
Or
so I would
bring it
probably,
back to our
in my heart space,
spirit?
I would manifest the idea of reconnecting, reassimilating, becoming aware of their existence. But bringing back infers that it went away, but just our idea of them maybe went away. But yeah, we want to connect to all the different realms, all the different paradigms. There's workshops on what they call soul retrieval, which what they mean by that is reconnecting to all of those pieces of your soul that exist in different paradigms for purposes of unification. Yeah, and there's a part, if you feel that a part of you is in dolphin energy, then it probably is, because anything that you feel is always true.
So it's more a matter of reconnecting with that energy as opposed to the thought of bringing it back. Because it's not really a loss, it's just that it's natural for us to have our energy in different dimensions.
And the sense of loss that you may be feeling is the disconnect. So it's just the reconnecting of that. And you always hear me say in the meditations, understanding our individuality and how we exist as a unique, but yet at the same time, understanding that connection to all the different pieces out there. And I don't really have a way to describe how to reconcile the fact that we are unique and yet at the same time we're a part of everything. I know it's true, but I don't have the words to share with you in a way that might make it feel more sense, but just to me, I know. I don't know how.
We're coming to this time where we're realizing we are bringing back all those aspects of our soul for us to being complete in our wholeness, balancing our masculine and feminine. That's been a real big thing, especially that 11-11, the gate. I was in Peru at the Amaru Muru's doorway with all sorts of people, and I was really feeling we were working on balancing our masculine and feminine energies and bringing those aspects of ourselves back into wholeness and merging with all that is. So when you talk about the trees and the water and us being that, we can feel it. When we really tune into that energy, we're starting to feel the trees are singing to us, and we're dancing with the trees, and like even the leaf in the video with the dolphins, feeling connected to that little leaf. And it's an interesting thing to still be an individual, but to still be swimming in the sea of consciousness with everyone. I'm finding it's been an interesting. Just an interesting dynamic to wake up some days and maybe feel a little bit of anxiety and think, where did that come from? And asking yourself, is this mine? Is this mine? Because the veils are thinning, we're connecting, we're feeling our connection to all life. And so you may be feeling something in the collective. And then when we realize that, we can work on centering ourselves and putting that back in the field. And that's how we're co-creating in this new paradigm, this new way of being. Which is really, in my opinion, like you said, it's an old way of being, because it's the Lemurian way. And we're just bringing that back.
It's the previous way of being.
Previous way of being.
Yeah.
And we're bringing it back.
Bring it back.
So it's about being okay with our energy being with ourselves and in the universe with every living being and thing, and not feeling like we've left parts of ourselves anywhere because we're all one.
In the same way that you can feel and see everybody in this room, whereas if you were to have come in here by yourself, and all of a sudden everybody comes in, it's just becoming aware that there are other things here. So do we now become aware that we exist in multiple places, multiple dimensions, multiple times. And that's really, when you take all these workshops on manifestation and abundance, what you're really doing when you're manifesting something is shifting into the paradigm where that exists as compared to the one where it doesn't exist. And that's why when you are really clear about manifestation, I need this, I need that, and sometimes they appear that quickly, you have simply gone from one paradigm where everything else is the same, and you shift into one where it's all the same except that piece exists. And that's how things show. And so we exist in all of these different paradigms, and that's why when you govern your thoughts and you really talk about what it is that you want to create, what you're really saying is, I exist in this paradigm where this is so, as compared to in that paradigm where it's not so. And all you have to do, your free will, your sovereignty, will take you to the paradigm where what you create and what you desire exists. And that's what we're doing here with all of this prayer and setting intentions, is we're taking ourselves into a paradigm where there are not the hierarchies. There simply exists this utopia of being together, and it's possible and it's real.
It's happening.
And we can do it, and it is happening.
You are so, you're so right on with everything you're sharing here. I watch what you're doing here and who's coming to speak and how you speak. And that's why every one of you is drawn to be here, because you have set the intention, and it's through your beautiful grace and humility and the way that you share. It doesn't feel like you are dictating in any way, shape, or form, because you are embodying those beautiful Lemurian energies that we want to anchor back on Earth. And I feel so drawn to be here, and more than any other place I've been. And that's going on YouTube. Oh my gosh.
Say that louder?
Yeah, I know. When Danielle, when you first opened Temple of Light, I know it takes a while to build a community.
3 years.
Yeah, and I applaud you for your tenacity, staying with it. I give a lot of credit to your beloved here, who I know supports you 1,000%. And I know how hard that is. My husband's dealing with that right now, with me getting, starting to do a lot more.
When we start talking weird.
Yeah, when we go in our airy-fairy mode, right? What's one of my friends says, "So are you hanging with the whack pack today?" I'll own that label. Because you know what? It's all about staying in our joy. And I'm not, if sometimes I do, my family sometimes gives me a hard time about, what planet are you on? And I'm like, this one right now. And maybe 5 others too at the same time. And then, my daughter rolls her eyes. But it's so great to have the safety here. It feels safe to be able to share and be our authentic, transparent selves. I believe the new energy of business is authenticity and transparency, and getting rid of competition and even copyrights. I'm hearing, get rid of those copyrights, because it's universal messages are streaming forth to all of us, and we may be saying the same thing. Somebody in Europe may have written a meditation that has the same exact words as something somebody over here read, and who cares? Who cares who wrote it, as long as we're hearing it, as long as we're receiving it in the highest light, from the highest love, for the greatest good, for all life at every dimension. Isn't that what really matters? And I believe we are moving rapidly towards embracing that ideal. And
That's true, because copyright is protect yourself from somebody taking something that is yours because they believe they couldn't create it on their own, which if we're all feeling love and self-worth and sovereignty, those concepts that underlie the need for it don't even exist. And isn't all intelligence channeled and coming from different sources anyway? I mean, I don't copyright anything I do because I don't own it.
It's the universe. It's a universal language. I believe we really are. We've stepped into the universal language of love. And that is what is getting us through. Swimming in this beautiful sea of love is what's taking us into the shift of the ages, the Aquarian age. We're doing it. And when you said, you know, your guide said 20 or 30 years to really get it down.
Completion,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because we're co-creating it every second, we can all of us right here can say, let's have it happen in 5 years. Guess what? Her guides tomorrow may say, oh, wow, it's going to happen in 3 years, you know?
That's just the current temperature.
Yeah,
But you're
exactly.
absolutely right. Even having said that, that's what we talk about with the future is the second that you witness it, you've already changed it. Because I thought the same thing. I thought, gosh, I didn't think it was going to take that long. I just changed it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to take that long.
No. That's the beauty of all of us coming together and co-creating from an open, pure, open-hearted space. When we went to Peru, and I took a group of people to Peru, there were 16 of us, and the only requirement that I put on the flyer was that you have a pure, open heart. And that was it. Show up. Be willing to ride on spirit and follow divine flow. I don't do a lot of, believe it or not, I actually just started wearing a watch this year because I don't really exist in time. You know, it's really doing that, you know, be here at this time, really? But we're in now time, right? So it's an interesting feeling to be walking in all these different worlds at the same time. Because what is time? You know, now we're stepping out of this idea of time and space, and we're really expanding and feeling our infinite nature. Being in our pure open heart, though, I think is the key.
Thank you. So Michelle will be here afterwards if you have any questions. And if you, for some reason, can't make the dolphin trip this Thursday, you do it on a regular basis.
Please sign up on the email list so I hope I get everyone in there. And if I don't happen to contact you and you want to contact me, my email address is on my business cards there, nsmichelle@cox.net. I'm on Facebook. I don't have my website launched because I was saying to somebody earlier, I'm too busy doing instead of doing all that business stuff. I'd rather just, there's a lot going on this week. There's, actually, did I tell you I'm doing a sweat lodge on Wednesday night?
No, you didn't.
That just got, if anyone's interested in a traditional Native American Lakota style sweat lodge in Laguna Beach, I have found the guy that does it. Andrew Solis is offering up his home. He and Carrie Woodburn, amazing couple. And I said, you know, I'm really feeling the desire to have a sweat right before the winter solstice, in the winter solstice energies, to purify and pray together. And so we'll be doing that Wednesday night. And Thursday night, I know you have something going on here.
Deborah Shade's doing a winter solstice celebration here.
And I'm also doing a thing at the Neighborhood Congressional Church with the sound healer, Richard Lairmont, and
So
Yunjung Choi.
the dolphin thing is from 2
2
to
to
4.
4.
And then you're doing something at the Neighborhood Congregational Church that evening.
6:30.
And Deborah Shade has an event here. So go someplace before winter solstice, whether it's here or there or someplace else. But do go and seek energy somewhere where you can be a part of
Co-creating.
that, co-creating that. Even if it's just going down to the beach and watching the sunset on
Totally.
Catalina.
Or
on that
meditating.
day, or meditating. Do something in a group or by yourself. But
Connecting.
honoring the energy of coming into the winter months, the rest period.
From darkness to light.
It's an
Yeah.
important thing.
We, last year I did this with Eric Rankin. He spoke here about the dolphins in his book, The Aquarians. this is the third year in a row we're doing a winter solstice ceremony, and last year, are all of you familiar with the winter solstice and the energies, and do you remember last year it was a full moon eclipse and the winter solstice? Do you remember that?
I don't remember that now.
Ooh, boy, was that, and we had that big huge storm that closed down all of Laguna Beach, do you remember that? I had the fire department at my house, I had a flood in the house, the pool overflowed, it was some pretty intense energy, and I kept hearing guides say, find an alternate location, because you normally do it on the beach, and I said, oh no, I have to deal with the weather, it'll be fine, no, it's not gonna be fine, and I said, okay, well, if it rains out, you know, I'm arguing, right? If it rains out, then I don't have to do it. It's a, you know, I gotta put all this energy in. I basically got a spiritual spanking. And
Oh, I like that
yeah,
phrase.
I got a spiritual spanking. That flood happened in my living room, you know, and they're saying, I kept hearing, find an alternate location, find an alternate location. Okay, so this came about, the neighborhood congregational church offered the church donation only. We did a canned food drive. And this was last minute. About 200 people showed up at that church. People from really far deep in San Diego, people from this girl that's coming this year, Young Jung Choi. She speaks the language of light, amazing, beautiful soul. She flew from Kauai to come in, and she drove down from like Topanga Canyon in this horrific storm to be with our group. And I you know, was thinking, what is it? I just kind of feel like the Pied Piper. I gather the people. That's kind of what I do. When people ask me, what do you do? I say, I love humanity. That's what I do. And she came, and we had this beautiful ceremony, and everybody came together. The next morning, I get all the phone calls, Michelle, that was so great, that was amazing. And I was on the phone with Camille, you know Camille Michael, she's taught here. We both were crying our eyes out the next morning, and I said, did you feel it? Did you feel it? I felt it. And she said, I felt it. I felt the click of us really anchoring in unity consciousness, and whatever we did by coming together, not just our group in Laguna Beach, but all the groups all over. If you Google winter solstice celebrations around the world, you're going to find meditations, online webinars, different events. And I say go wherever your soul guides you to go, because that's where you're supposed to be. Even if it's inward, even if it's just sitting in a tree, you know, next to a tree in your backyard. Wherever your guidance is, that's where you go. The key is tune into the collective consciousness from a place of pure, open-hearted, radiant love, and spread that out. And that's how we're going to make that 30 years into 5, 3, 2, today, now. That's how it works.